This is Kathy Biehl of EmpowermentUnlimited.net with Astro-Insight for the week of June 12th, 2023. This week's skies are not in themselves particularly dramatic or action-packed. The week's a little bit dazed, a little bit confusing, a little bit pleasantly numb, continuing to be sociable and communicative, but more escapist and with a lingering and nagging sense that maybe there's something you're supposed to be doing and you can't quite put your finger on it. Even in this diffuse and somewhat foggy atmosphere, there will be moments of dramatic action as Mars, the planet that rules our drive, triggers the degrees of the lunar eclipses from May and last November and spurs all kinds of movement, tackling leftover business and shutting down chapters that have run their course. You may have to change, tinker with a few obligations early in the week, pull up your metaphoric pants and boots, and just deal with something. Mercury is involved in most of the major action this week. That's the planet of what goes in and out of our mouths, of, I like to say, gadgets and getting around. He's in his airy home sign of Gemini, where he can flit and fly and be as flexible as he wants, except he hits a wall, a no, wait, slow down, on the 15th when he squares Saturn in Pisces. You might hear something that stops you in your tracks. You might be forced to contain your mind flying all over creation. So this is like, instead of having 15 browser tabs open, looking at only 2 or 3. You might be called on the carpet for something that you've been saying, and you might simply hit an information wall and decide, okay, I'll go in this direction instead. Whatever this yellow light does to you, it's not necessarily unpleasant at all, because opportunities to express yourself and enjoy yourself and communicate and connect with people that get you follow quite quickly by the 17th when Mercury sextiles Venus. And on that day, a process begins that's going to take us to the beginning of November and then ultimately to next February. Saturn retrogrades at 7 degrees Pisces, where he has been all month and where he will stay into early July. He'll be retrograde until the beginning of November and then returns to this degree in early February next year. This is the source of the, isn't there something I was gonna do? Saturn will very slowly take us back over the territory that we have traveled since he entered the sign on March 7th, and very slowly bring up lessons, issues of maturity, issues of responsibility, issues of commitment, issues of accountability, very slowly. This retrograde isn't shutting us up or shutting us down, though, because the hyper-chatty Gemini new moon comes on the 18th, ruled by Mercury, refreshing our minds, refreshing ideas, refreshing our information sources, with the potential of injecting them with inspiration and higher love and compassion and forgiveness and understanding. And yes, there's a catch. These new seeds could also have unreality in them, fantasy, illusion, I hate to say it, but gaslighting, because the moon is square Neptune, the planet of transcendence, unhinging from physical reality, the cosmic fog machine. This square colors the weekend. It's a good time to kick back, relax, Let your mind go fallow. Dream, daydream, stare at the clouds, see what inspiration comes to you. Watch a bunch of movies. Put off agreements. Look at this as a mini replication of a Mercury retrograde. And take everything that you hear under advisement. There's a lot of fool's gold flying around. All that glitters is not gold. To further pile up the adages here, take everything with a grain of salt. Basically, unplug and see where your mind and your imagination take you. Humming thought of the week. What's the rush? Song of the week. You have to be carefully taught, from the musical South Pacific by Rodgers and Hammerstein. And the image of the week is the caterpillar in Alice in Wonderland. You'll find more about this in my forecast for the month of June, which is already up at my site, empowermentunlimited.net, and in my forecast for the Gemini new moon, which will be up by Tuesday, June 13th. And in my talk about Saturn in Pisces, which looks at the themes inherent in this paradoxical combination, what happened during the 20th century, during the 4 times that Saturn was in Pisces, and what this means for each of us as individuals for the next couple of years. And that's available in the shop at my site, and actually there's a link on the front page. I'm Kathy Biehl, a professional astrologer with more than 30 years' experience. I host the show Celestial Compass on Om Times Radio on the first and third Monday of every month at 5 p.m. Eastern. I also host lively conversation on Facebook, on the page Empowerment Unlimited, and in the group the Astro-Insight Lounge. I have lots of bonus content at patreon.com/Kathy Biehl, and I'm really grateful to the people who support my work there. I'm on Instagram at @KABiehl and on YouTube at the Professional Aquarian channel. Talk to you next week.